Hey, what's up? I'm HypeHype. I play games, make games, and everything in between. And today we're going to be creating a simple platformer, kind of like a city parkour in HypeHype. HypeHype is a cool app that's like the TikTok of games. You can play thousands of games in a single app. Also, make and recreate games from scratch or use other games people have made and make your own version of that game. I'm still kind of new to HypeHype, so making a platformer is a good introduction. So let's get started. Today we are going to be remixing this platformer template called Remix Template Parkour. It's a simple game setup where we have this guy, we can move him around, he can jump, we can look around, and there's different pre-made assets already in this game. We have the timer going, this is a checkpoint, we got some springs, spikes that take away health, this ladder that makes it so you can climb up, and there's a checkpoint and a moving tile, and then the flag to complete the game, along with the dude at the end dancing. We can see that the leaderboard is already set up. If you like this kind of content around making and playing games, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more notifications. First thing I want to check out is the user at HypeHype Templates. They have dozens of cool basic templates to help you get started and show you some of the possibilities that you can do in HypeHype. As we can see, this parkour template has over 200,000 plays. It's a good one to get started with. Let's begin by hitting the remix button on the right hand side. First thing I want to do is change the color tone of the environment, and we can do that by selecting environment, background, and select color number 2. As we can see, everything is a little bit darker, which is what we're going for today. Next thing I want to do is change the camera view, and the easiest way to do that is to slide the menu on the left over. We can see we have reset view and set camera. Reset view will take us back to what the player will see when they play the game. I want the player to see a little bit more of what's ahead of them. So we're going to take 2 fingers, put it down, and slowly move the screen up. And now we're going to do set camera. I'm going to hit the logic on button, take 2 fingers, squeeze in, and then we can check out the camera. Now we can see when we play, the character is looking a little bit more forward. Let's go ahead and zoom out, and we can take a look at these little packages. These are called reusable items. These are things such as the checkpoints, the ladder, the player health, controls, drag and turn. If you want to take a closer look into these, you can select the package, hit show, and it will show how everything is set up. This is basically like a game mechanic. You don't need to know how everything works. I do recommend reviewing all the nodes and components so you can slowly get a better idea of how things work. To the right, we have these containers which contain the game end system for game over, the time score, and the start countdown. I'm going to select the area pick and move these over a little bit to the left just so I can get them out of my way and we can get to making this game. First thing I want to do is have the player be jumping on buildings like skyscrapers. I'm going to go to the right over here, select the asset library, visual, and type in city. You can search just by scrolling down. HypeHype has thousands of assets created by them and other users. If you want to know how to make assets for HypeHype, I have a video on that, so be sure to check that out if you like using Blender and think it would be cool for other people to use your assets. Be sure to look at the hashtags so that when you are searching for assets in the future, you can just type in what you're looking for. Right now we are looking for buildings or city buildings. As I'm in HypeHype a lot, I know kind of what buildings I'm looking for. So I'm just going to grab about 5 of these. So we got 1 here, 2, and I'm going to go ahead and scale them down just so it'd be easier to see them. And we'll be putting these into our game one at a time. Now to select multiple objects, you want to select an object, tap somewhere on the screen, hold down, and then select the other objects. So let's get a couple more buildings. I like this building. This one looks like a big office building. We can manipulate and adjust the colors later. Got this city building. Let's grab 1 more. And this one looks kind of like an apartment complex. This is a character who has the reusable fan character, which means when he hits the finish line, he basically dances. So let's get him over here with the other dude, which is colored purple. Let's go ahead and Move these trees for now. Next, we want to lower the ground as much as possible. So we go to the menu, hit environment and world bottom. Let's move it to the lowest we can at -20. Next, let's grab this building and let's make it massive. Now I am using my fingers to zoom in and move around. If you're new to HypeHype, I have a video called Editor Overview, which I recommend to check out as I go through the basics of movement and selecting items. From here, I like to have the menu where you can see the X, Y, and Z coordinates. And let's line everything up, bring up the building a little bit more. Next, we're going to make the building an unmovable object so the player can stand on the building. But here we can see that it kind of looks like the player is walking on top of the building, and that is because of how the collision structure is set up on the roof. And there is a simple fix for that. Let's go change the physics, turn it off, go to the asset library, select tile set, and we're just going to want this one, ground tile set simple platform. From here, we can see that the physics is set to unmovable object, and we want to place this right above the rooftop. So if we move it too far down, it becomes invisible, and from here we can select gray to make it blend with the rooftop. But I'm going to keep it black for now just so there is a contrast and we can see the difference. I'm going to go ahead and select this object, delete it. Let's move this checkpoint down, it's right on top of the roof. Let's select the rooftop, and next select paint, kind of like finger painting. And here we just need to select the whole rooftop, and this is so the character does not fall through the building. Let's go ahead and touch that. As we can see, it looks like the player is walking on top of the building, and if we go too far, we will fall. But let's go ahead and grab this spring, move it on over here. And when you want to move around in 3D, you just put 2 fingers on the screen and you rotate. It's really good to get used to doing this, because when you're looking at the world in 3 dimensions, you want to have multiple perspectives. If you only have one perspective, something may seem like it's a good fit, but in actuality, it's not. So let's go ahead and add this other building. And for scale size, it's good to get a comparison. We select this building, we hit scale. This building is about 1.5 or 1.439. So we can go ahead and make this building about 1.5 in scale. This icon is scale, this icon is rotate, and then this one is move. You can also move the XYZ individually. They are color coded. So let's go ahead and grab this, put 1.5. You can see that this building is at Y of -39. So let's go ahead and do the same for this. Select the movement, let's put this at X of 0 and Y of -37. And we want the top of the buildings to be kind of level. It looks like this one is still a little bit lower. Next, we need to move it back, so we should change the Z. Alright, so that is looking good. Let's go ahead and delete this platform. We can put this checkpoint closer to the ground over here. Remember to use 2 fingers and move around in 3D to get multiple perspectives. And next we need to add the actual physical ground. So let's duplicate the top of the roof over here and move it on to the next roof. From here, let's just paint the top of the roof. And now that we got the outline, we can just move our finger back and forth and get all the open areas. Perfect. Now let's move it so it fits just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and play test it. Nice. Now is probably a good time to save. So let's quickly take a thumbnail, select save, and we'll call this skyscraper parkour. So here, these red spikes are hazardous, and if the player touches it, they will lose their health. Let's put these around the rooftop and maybe add some more springs for the player so that they have to jump over them. And we can go to the spring, select duplicate, duplicate again, so we got at least 2 of these. And I'm gonna go ahead and select these other objects and just move everything back to give us more space. Oh, let's grab this ladder because I have cool plans for this ladder. We grab the spikes, select multiple ones, hit duplicate. We're going to select multiple spikes, and to do that, select one spike, tap and hold on the screen, and then select additional spikes one at a time. Now we're going to hit duplicate, and we just want to create a setup that causes the player to use the springs to bounce forward. Let's go ahead and play test this. Okay, let's grab this building and select the scale. I believe we want about 1.5 for the X, Y, and Z. And let's position it at, what was it, -38, -35, something like that. Let's zoom out. Okay, maybe -15 looks a little better. So I'm gonna put this building here, duplicate it, and put another building here. And next, we're gonna grab that ladder. We're gonna put this ladder over here. Let's play test this. It kind of reminds me of a fire escape on city buildings, and let's see if this works. That worked out pretty well, except it was a little bit too easy to get to the other side of the building, so let's just move everything back. And again, we select multiple items by tap and hold. That might be too far. One way to find out. Okay, did not make it at all. Let's see if that's adding a string will be helpful. Always good to play test your games over and over again. It does look like with the string you can double jump. Cool. Noticed a couple things. The player could accidentally go through the building, which is not what we want. We'll have to set up a tile set for the top of the building and for the side of the building. For the top of the building, we could just take the previous one, select copy, and go from there. Let's test it. Cool, it makes it to the top. I'm gonna grab that tile, hit duplicate, and we'll also set it for the building to the right. So now we got the ceiling set up. Let's grab the wall. Type in tile set, and this is what we want. Wall tile set, simple platform. Go over here, just about to peek out. Because this building curves in a little bit, you cannot go directly. Yeah, so we can't do that. Maybe there's a better building. Let's see if we can't use this building. Grab the scale, let's type in 1.5, and I'm gonna go ahead and delete this building. Maybe make the building a little bit bigger. Right about here. Now that we have a new building, we need to adjust the wall and the building top is like that, right there. Let's select top and adjust this accordingly. Okay, that looks good, and let's go ahead and update the wall. The more you use HypeHype, the easier it becomes to move around a 3D world. And now let's test it with the new building. That looks great. I want to make this ladder a little bit longer. Oh, see, it's not centered. Always important to move around in 3D. The more perspective you have, the better you can understand something that may not make sense. Cool, so we got two ladders. This one will have no ladder, and we can have it set up so that the player has to go in between the two. Let's go ahead and move the people and put that over there. And I'm also going to select the wall here, see if the player can get from one building to the other. Looking good. I think we can actually move this building back more. And I'm going to test the jump again just because I like to over test everything. You can jump in the air, but most players won't know that. And that looks great. We'll set it so if the player hits the bottom, they get a game over or a restart. And since we have this object here, we might as well have it go in between. Just a random platform floating between buildings. Let's just go ahead and put this here in between and maybe move this building a little bit further away so that you have to jump on that platform. Let's test again. So it looks like if you wanted to, you could make the jump. Okay, let's move it just a little bit out of reach. And I also want this building to be a little bit closer. Tap on the screen and hold and select each item one at a time. Like that. Do something. There we go. So now the player goes from one building to the next. And here we can have the game over. We want to delete these. Put these dudes right over here. Maybe like this. And so let's just grab these dudes and then we can duplicate them just so that there's more people waiting for the player at the end. Change this building color. Let's check it out. Cool. And move like this. You can see there's a bunch of people waiting for us. we're just about done. Last thing we need to do is have the ground be game over. We'll need to grab a tile set. Let's go ahead and make it red to kind of signify game over, and we can add a collision trigger. If collision touches something that's green, we can do a game end. Select game end, restart automatically. Enable slowdown, wait time, let's do 0.5 seconds. The collision trigger here, game end, execute. Next, let's test it by jumping off of the building. It's a great way to test things. Perfect. So now that this is set up, let's go ahead and draw in between the buildings. It's important to make sure you have your game over and your game win set up. Leaderboards are easy to do in HypeHype. As someone who likes to be at the top of the leaderboard, I recommend putting these into most of your games. It of course depends on the game. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and test it. Okay, so it looks like I fell in between the building, which is a good test, honestly. That means I need to make sure I cover the whole area. I was trying to take shortcuts, and play testing helps find any loopholes in your shortcuts. Let's do one more play test. Nice. And lastly, for some aesthetics, let's go ahead and add some trees to the rooftop buildings. Green rooftops are totally in nowadays. Yeah, and I might go in and polish this later by adding cool little additions, going through the asset library. But for right now, we have a good setup. Let's go and make a screenshot for a new thumbnail. A good way to do this. So right now I have it in portrait mode, and I want to get a thumbnail of us jumping off here. So let's go move the speed down to about 0.4, and in the middle of the air, I'm going to pull this up like this. Okay, so that didn't work, but let's try it again. Let's get the speed down to 0.2. Maybe that's a little better. Move this over here. Cool. And we got the shadow in that. I think that looks great. So like save. There we go. Looking good. Lastly, check to make sure the leaderboard is set up. Set to lowest number. And we can just select post to post it. I'm going to select save draft and try to do some minor updates. That's making a parkour platformer. Check out the HypeHype templates and all games on HypeHype, and like the ones that you find fun and interesting so that you can check them out later. Thanks for watching. If you like that game, be sure to check out the link below because you can play it right away. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. And until next time, I'm HypeHype. Stay safe out there, and peace.